Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I know I was late on this one, but it's finally time to talk about Sasaki and Miyano. Just when we thought Studio Dean had abandoned us, they return with the BL greatness. So good to see Sasaki and Miyano back. Or, well, not back, but Dean back to its proper greatness with Sasaki and Miyano. Today we're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2, but before we get into it, let's go ahead and set a like goal, because these videos may kind of live and die off like goals, so let's say 100 likes before the next episode, shall we? Let's try to hit 100 likes before the next video. And, of course, as always, I will pin the best comment of the video to the top, so you have till the end of the day to get the best comment. Whether that's funny or insightful, that's up to you. But with that said, it's time. So, I knew very little going into Sasaki Miyano other than it's a BL, and finally the greats over at Studio Dean have returned to us with a very quality BL. Now, it's been a bit since the last BL series that I really enjoyed, because I didn't really enjoy Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window that much. I don't know why, I just didn't vibe with it. So the last one for me was the Given movie earlier this year. So that was earlier last year, sorry. So it's been about a year since the last new BL series I watched, because I've been, I've been keeping up. I've been showing the missus some BL, I'd be out here watching Tightrope and stuff. By the way, Tightrope was great. I had never seen it. That was like the most recent one I watched. It was very good. But yeah, it's been funny showing Stella, by the way, because I'm just like, behold my pastime that I kind of feel Miyano on this, where I'm like, yeah, like, you guys know that I'm into BL, and I don't exactly hide it in the same way that Miyano does, but when people are introduced to me, and they're like, JoJo likes BL, right? Or Mr. Underhill likes BL, and it's like, yep. Because I'm like, that's gonna give people an idea of who I am. That's not quite accurate. But, I mean, it kind of is at the same time. Look, man, I like BL, okay? I'm just gonna come out and say it. I like BL. I've always liked BL. I am the Fudanshi king, okay? You know that show, Secret Life of Fudanshi? Or like Daily Life of a High School Fudanshi, or whatever it was. That was a show about me. That was me as a high school student. That's because I, as an undead, well, not undead, but a corpse puppet who takes care of a house on the hill. If you don't keep up with the Twitch channel, you're not going to understand what I'm saying, so I'm going to stop. But, as an undead puppet man, didn't do the whole high school thing, but if I were to do it, it would have been that show. And now we have a new example of a show that might as well be about my life, and that being Sasaki Miyano. And Miyano being a Fudanshi, I'm not gonna lie, gives me strength. That makes me happy, because it's so rare to see Fudanshi. It's so freaking rare for me to see Fudanshi in anime, so I get kind of hyped when I do see Fudanshi. Fudanshi are about as rare as ace characters. It's like, I would like to see more of these types. I so rarely do. So seeing Miyano just be his BL loving self brought me a lot of strength, a lot of serotonin. And honestly, Sasaki and Miyano as a ship, not so much as a show, although very much as a show as well, is just super sweet. I think these two have such a very genuine dynamic, and the fact that Miyano, right, I'll get into like their ship dynamics in a second, but the fact that like Miyano is aware of the BL tropes and that Sasaki is slowly becoming aware of them is great. Like, the very beginning of the show even opens with Miyano saying like, man, this feels like the start of a BL, and it's like, yeah, that's because it is. But it's, I don't know, there's something about that was really funny. And the first introduction too, like Miyano even like staring at Sasaki like, whoa, right? Or Miyano saying like, if you don't stop, I'm gonna have this made into slash art. And Sasaki's like, what is that? And then like, don't worry about it, and also don't ask people about it. Or like when they're like at the end of the second episode when they're looking at chocolates, and Miyano's just like, man, this feels like the start of a or like this would make for a good BL plot, right? Like, he says that to himself, and then Sasaki ends up saying it as he's thinking it, because that's how much he's come to know Miyano by the end of the second episode. He's just able to read the freaking guy's mind. but like it's so good. He's such a mood. Like Miyano is such a mood. Like he's such a mood, right? And I mean that like the fact that like Miyano is out here listening to BL audio dramas on his iPod Nano. First of all, hipster. Second of all, tell me that that's not hella relatable. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that, I also thought of my friend Ami. I don't know if Ami's gonna be watching this video or not, but Ami, if you are listening to this, I thought of you the second I saw that. Like Miyano, I feel like that's something that like if I were to meet up with Ami at a con, I feel like that's something she might be doing, is like listening to BL audio dramas. Maybe not on an iPod Nano, you know, Miyano's kind of a hipster apparently. But that's the vibe it gave me, and come on, tell me that that's not relatable. You know, like the way he reacts, like, wait, no, I wasn't actually listening to that. It was just on. I swear, it was with the music. I got mixed in with the music. I wasn't even listening to it. I would never do that, right? And Sasaki's like, dude, what's the matter with you? Right? Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, it's so good. It's so good. It's so funny. Miyano is such a mood. He's such a mood. Right? The only thing that he does that I think is not a mood, right, is the fact that, like, he, like, oh man, he's gonna be misinterpreted if he keeps saying stuff like that. How can you read BL and say that? Come on, Miyano. Come on, my boy. You know who you think you're kidding. He's the earth and heaven to you. Come on, like, try to keep it hidden. Honey, we can see right through you. Like, come on, Miyano. You know that like you got it bad. You know you got it bad. Like Miyano's down bad. Sasaki's down worse, by the way. Like Miyano's down bad. Sasaki's down atrocious. You know, like but Miyano is such a mood. I loved his character so much. But Sasaki though. Sasaki, my boy Sasaki is, as I said, if Miyano's down bad, Sasaki's down atrocious. Like, so the first meeting, right? Let's rewind backwards. So the first meeting, we, at least as a viewer, I would assume that the audience is meant to interpret that Miyano is the one who took that situation, their first meeting, kind of romantically, right? No. So it wasn't just, Miyano seeing that moment as kind of romantic. It was also Sasaki, right? Like the fact that, like, so Sasaki, when he first saw them, right, like he interrupted because he was like, he thought Miyano from a distance, like he could tell that Miyano was a boy, but for a second kind of thought like, is that a girl? No, that's a boy. And then saw Miyano about to step in, and Sasaki's like, well, no, I don't want to do that. And so I don't want them to do that. So Sasaki runs up and like stops Miyano, and then sees how cute Miyano is, and Sasaki's like, oh damn, right? And then just like is like, wait, no, I gotta save that other guy first. So he walks over and like goes to save the other guy, who ends up being Kurosawa, as we find out later, who is Miyano's friend. And Kurosawa ends up vouching for Sasaki, saying that Sasaki's a good dude. But so Sasaki goes, saves Kurosawa, and after he gets his shit kicked in, saving Kurosawa, because, you know, Sasaki's kind of a delinquent. After he gets his ass kicked, the other senpai shows up, the blonde one, whose name I am forgetting for some reason. And I didn't write it down because I'm a fool. But the other one, he shows up and says like, you okay? And Sasaki's like, where's the guy? He's like, what guy? And then he shows him, he's like, anyway, Miyano, the guy who reported in, like, he said to say thank you. Right? And Sasaki's like, oh, Miyano. Right? And then he starts kind of bumping into Miyano in funny places. There's a lot of flashbacks in the first episode to like other moments where Sasaki met Miyano, because essentially the first episode and the second episode kind of run over the course of, I believe, like a few weeks, if not a few months. So the first episode is showing you flashbacks to like other times that these two have like met and like had interactions, where Sasaki is like slowly trying to integrate himself more and more into Miyano's life, until Miyano ends up giving Sasaki a manga to read, which turns out to be BL, and Sasaki's like, hey, right? Like, Sasaki's like, okay, because Sasaki they establish as a normal guy, right? They keep using the word normie, which I hate that word so much. But like they constantly refer to Sasaki as a normie. And he is very much like unaware of like a lot of like manga stuff, right? Like when they go shopping to the like that opening of them shopping at the manga store, right? And Miyano like, don't stand with me while we're looking at BL because people are gonna get the wrong idea. And I'm like, I think they're going to get the right idea, if you know what I'm saying. But it's so freaking cute. Like it was so cute. Everything about them is cute. But like I said, this man Sasaki, he's got it bad. Because Sasaki, there's this moment with Sasaki where he's like, he asks Miyano like how he got into BL, and he got into BL. Unless I misread the scene, which I might have, I'm pretty sure he's saying because he saw a familiar character and then he saw anthology on it, and then started reading it, and then he eventually got into BL because, you know, he experienced BL by accident because he saw like a character that he recognized. So my guess is that he read a doujin of some kind, right? Like for a character from a different series that he already liked, right? So I'm like, okay, now again, hell of a mood because that I got into BL because of Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts doujin got me into like Kingdom Hearts, like Organization 13 and Soriku and Sora and Roxas. In fact, Sora and Roxas I think was the first doujin I ever read. It was a Sora and Roxas doujin. I think it still exists on the internet. I might make a video on it one day. But anyway, Sasaki asks him about his first BL. And Miyano, again, just continues to be such a mood. Very relatable character. But the whole time, Sasaki wants to, like, reach out and hold Miyano's hand. He wants to hold his hand. Sorry, I can't. I'm very I'm emotional right now. I have a song in my heart right now. But so Sasaki wants to reach out and hold Miyano's hand. He wants to hold his hand. And he doesn't. He kind of chickens out. And Miyano doesn't notice because, like, you know, he has the book in front of his face. Sasaki later leaves and is essentially in the bathroom trying to cool off because he is so overcome with, like, feelings. Even says, like, I really got to make sure not to touch him again because if I hug him, I might hug him too strong and he might be upset by that. Right? And I'm like, look at this soft boy dynamics. Like look at this sweet ass BL is so gosh dang cute. It's so cute. This is like a very sweet BL so far. This is very like, this isn't like supaisi, you know, this isn't like problematic supaisi, you know, because if anybody because look, I pointed out earlier, so you probably already have an idea of the fact that when it comes to BL, do I enjoy, like I said, I was talking about Given, right? Do I enjoy my more like sweet cute BL? Yeah, of course. Does that mean that I am not going to also maybe watch some shit like Junjo Romantica? Absolutely not. You know I'd be down for some Junjo Romantica. I covered Junjo Romantica for a little bit. So you know I'm down, right? But like this is just especially sweet, which is funny because Miyano, they even make a joke saying Miyano doesn't like sweets. Like Miyano's more of like a bitter kind of guy. So I'm like, Miyano's into the more problematic type of BL, I see. But yeah, it's funny to me, right? That the show makes the joke about the whole like sweets thing. I just thought it was, I just think it's clever. The whole show is just very clever, and Miyano in particular is just, or Sasaki in particular is like down so bad for Miyano, and the pair are just so friggin' sweet. Like I like these two a lot. Like the last scene of the second episode, not so much the end credit scene. I will talk about that in a sec. But just their whole dynamic, like them like going shopping for chocolates and like Sasaki literally reading this man's mind, right? Like so cute. That's so freaking cute. And there is signs that like it might become a bit spicy as it goes. Like the blonde guy clearly seems conflicted. Like he says like, I guess I should just take that as a good thing, right? Like he has like his whole like the other character who's like a roommate that Miyano thinks like they have a thing going on, but it's to me kind of clear that the blonde senpai might also kind of be into Miyano to some degree, right? So I'm like, okay, so there's drama there, but also like there's drama at the end of the episode as well, right? Like where something during the train station really upset Sasaki, and I'm like sitting there going like, what happened? And at first I was like, is he upset that he didn't have the courage to give Miyano the chocolates because he's still holding on to the bag of chocolates, right? But then he thinks about the fact that 36 other guys in his class gave him chocolates because the whole class showed up with chocolates. And he's thinking, who's the first guy to give him chocolate? And I'm like, okay, so maybe Sasaki's upset because someone else gave Miyano chocolate, which means Sasaki might have a bit of a jealousy streak in him, which is interesting. And could develop into some spicy content. But yeah, I'm very, very into this show. I'm down as bad for this show as Sasaki is for Miyano, and low-key as Miyano is for Sasaki, because let's be real, Miyano's also probably into his senpai. I really wanted to see them play Gay Chicken, by the way. They didn't end up playing. I was very excited, and they didn't end up playing Gay Chicken. Anyway, outro. And there you have it, everybody. That is going to wrap it up for today's video, so I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and set notifications to all. Let all of AniTube know that you are here, and if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out our Discord so that you can actually be notified when new videos go up. And of course, you'll also be notified when we're streaming over on the other website that starts with a T. On top of being the best way to get notified for new videos, it's also a good place to discuss with fellow anime fans and stuff like that. So if that sounds cool to you, go ahead and join us over on the Discord, link down in the description. Also linked to the description is our Patreon page, and that, along with the join button right beside the sub button, are great ways to help keep this channel afloat. You will find our Patreon page for as little as $1. You can help keep this channel running. And of course, a big, big thank you I have to give to our masters of masters, the true legends, Asaki VT, Elizabeth Just Elizabeth, JCran23, Jeremy P, Matt87 Eagle, Shadow Creative, Shiorans, Stephen G, Stevie W, Trapmaster, Trevor W, and Tristan G. Thank you all so much for being so freaking cool. I really love and appreciate all of you guys for your tremendous support of this channel. And if you too would like to have your name shouted out at the end of videos, once again, go check out that Patreon link in the description or hit the join button right beside the sub button. Either way helps out a ton. And that's it for me. So until next time, clean your room. Just trust me, a clean room is a clean mind. Maybe do some Tai Chi. Maybe drink lots of water and brush your teeth. And yeah, have a good day. Bye.